All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Advocacy Prime and the ICEC edition here. We have our 6th episode, and today is actually Saturday, November 2nd, the last day of the ICEC convention here in Naperville, and I have the absolute pleasure to be sitting in front of a fantastic individual who I've gotten to know really well today and yesterday. And her name is Bethanie Whittaker.
Mm-hmm.
How's it going?
It's going great. It's been a good morning. We've had a lot of people walk into the convention, and we have some great sessions this morning.
Absolutely. Bethanie has quite the list. She started off and had her undergrad in marketing from Bradley. And actually, guys, she didn't tell me to say this, but she does have her pilot's license. I think that's amazing. She has her master's in special education from Illinois State University, her master's in ed leadership from EIU, go Panthers. And, in terms of CEC, she's the past president of ICEC here for Illinois. She is the Ray Graham Memorial Fund sponsor, and also she is part of the Past President's Advisory Council, which is very important, and I'm kind of really seeing now being on the board and being able to see all the logistics happen, it's important that we have an advisory council because being president is not an easy gig by any means.
No, it's not, but it's very fulfilling. And as president, you get to see what all of the committees are doing. You're part of each committee that's on the board. And so you really get an overall look of what we're doing through the state in advocacy for our students with special needs.
Yeah. And again, and it's important, too, to have something like an advisory council so you can mentor the president.
It is, and we do that, but we also look at issues that are affecting teachers and students, and our students who are going into the field of education, our teachers who are there now. And I chair that committee, but it's amazing, Michael, because it's the past presidents, so It's all of those people who came before me, and the amazing knowledge in there, and the history, and the things they know, phenomenal. And many times, this is my second time chairing the committee, I don't say much because I learn so many things, and the topics they bring up, I don't even know about yet. You know?
And that's, again, why I'm, extremely proud to be part of ICEC and CEC, because I have learned so much just from the board members and just from being around. You just see so much passion when we're at our board meetings. You just see people are all there for the same reason, and that's advocacy for people with disabilities. I mean, that is for exceptional children, and that is what CEC brings to a community.
Can I just tell you something that I was able to do as president?
Absolutely.
So there were 2 years that during the summer we have a summit in Washington, D.C., and that is done in conjunction with CASE and IAASE with the Illinois Council for Exceptional Children. And so I was able to go along with the president-elect and talk to representatives and senators in Washington, D.C. about our students with special needs and what can they do to help and how much we need their influence. And it was very exciting because summer before last, we went and talked about funding IDEA, and because it's not fully funded, and our students need every opportunity for education, anything we can give them. And we know, we hear all the time how teachers are putting out of their own pockets. You and I do that. Yeah. And we don't even think anything about it, But if it was fully funded, just think what that could do. And so we talked to them about it, and it was amazing because the next week they passed a bill to fund $82 million. And that went across the United States. But, it gives me chills just talking about it. Because I'm sure I was an insignificant part. But to be able to go and talk to them, Michael, about what's going on in my classroom and what my students need and how they could help, that's just a small part of what we do, and to be able to bring that back to Illinois, even a small part of that money for our students here to get them what they need to be educated, and so what a privilege to be able to do that.
Well, Bethanie, I want you to, I really want to address kind of what you just said there, how you think, I'm just, a minor part or a very small part or, very little influence. Well, one of my things that I really emphasize on Advocacy Prime is that we all need a community, like we need a voice, you know, and in order to get to be that voice, we need to be a village of people. And so like you attribute it to that, you know, and like, again, if you didn't think about going and advocating, which is what CEC and IC is all about,
Right.
I mean, you'd be missing part of that puzzle there, you know. I mean, like there's so much that you did just by going down and advocating and just sharing your experiences. And funding is so important, and it's unfortunate that we're not always going to be fully funded. And,
Right.
and you know, when I had Tara Costa Howard on yesterday, it's like, you know, sometimes there's like no-brainers. You're like, yeah, like well, we should be passing these laws and fully funding these programs, but where are we going to get it from?
Right. I mean, the pie, let's be honest, it's only so big,
Yeah.
you know.
So, yeah, that's awesome. Now, I want to talk about, you know, you, like I said, you're a past president. You've been around. You are, you know, part of the Ray Graham Memorial Fund. Let's talk about student membership. All right, you and I were having a discussion right before this, and I kind of want to go ahead and clarify, you know, some things that you were very passionate about. So when we're talking about student memberships in universities, how, you know, what is like a myth that we can go ahead and dispel about that?
Well, if I can give you a little history.
Yes.
Okay, so when I was a student, you belonged to National CEC, and then you also belonged to your chapter. So we paid dues, and it was minimal, maybe $25. I know when you're in college, sometimes that's a lot.
Yeah.
And it kind of was. But you belonged to CEC, the National CEC, and your student chapter. As professionals, we belong to National CEC, and then we also belong to our state. That changed, and so students then only belonged to their chapter. And we found across Illinois, and this is something that PPAC, the Past President's Advisory Council, talked about the other night, as our chapters are dwindling, and really our student chapters, we have more of those than professional now.
Yeah.
But we found that students didn't even know from university to university that there were other university chapters. They
Yeah.
thought, well, maybe this is only ISU, or this is only Eastern or Southern.
That they're like their own subsidy.
Yeah, they didn't know. And I know you and I were talking about, you know, you have Key Club and Circle K and Kiwanis, and it just goes through. Well, once they didn't belong then to the national, they lost that they're a big community.
Yeah.
So that's something that we are working at, to that not only do you have great resources as a student, but we so want to help you when you're a professional in your classroom. We have so many, our brain trust is phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, when I was talking about past presidents the other night, I mean, I'm the dumbest person in the room. You know, it's a brain trust, and
You got to give yourself more credit, guys.
well, I
Yeah.
mean, but you know what I'm
She's very
saying. I
humble.
mean, but just the knowledge and so I want our students, as they go into the profession, you've read the statistics, Michael. I mean, how many teachers, even in special ed, they don't stay.
No.
And we want them to be, we're losing some fantastic teachers. And if we could get them those resources, and that's what CEC wants to do. That's what our past presidents want to do. That's what the people involved in our organization want to do. I mean, you want to do that. Hence the podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, the more information we can get out and the more support we can give. So if we could just get our student chapters and our students to realize that you can belong to this as a professional in your field, I think that would be a great resource. And really, we are concerned with that as we watch membership from many organizations dwindle as well.
Yeah.
And there are a lot, but CEC has so many things to offer teachers who teach students with special needs, and it's across the board. I mean, we run, you name it.
Yeah.
You know, we can meet any need that you have.
Stephanie Yeager and I were talking yesterday on a podcast, and that, you know, just about those same things, that how much CEC can offer you to as a professional. And, you know, last year we just had our, you know, it was on mindfulness, right?
Right.
And teachers need to understand that we need to practice proper mental health, right? So we could be there for our students, and CEC offers methods like that, all the way from like mental health to these special ed standards. Like it's the standards of special education. So it's really important to be a part of an organization, you know, and knowing that when I'm a student, that I am part of that chapter at that university, but I'm also part of the national brand. Am I right?
You're right.
And like, this also should continue on with me in my professional life.
Yeah, we'd love for that to happen. And then you come here and you talk with other professionals. I mean, Pioneers had a great session yesterday on what you can expect to see when you're in the classroom. And we offer, we have so many great sessions, even
What are the Pioneers?
So Pioneers, I believe that you have to be in the field 20 years.
Wow.
And then you can join.
Truly
Pioneers.
a pioneer.
Yeah, right. And it is a subdivision of CEC.
Yeah.
So, but the Pioneers are very influential, and like I said before, their knowledge base, and they run the gamut. I mean, they taught students with any need, you name it, they've taught those students,
Wow.
and they're great at it. So, and then we do have things. You talked about mindfulness.
Yeah.
We've had sessions on yoga in the classroom where you get to practice it, and other mindfulness things, because it is so important for teachers to be healthy as well.
When I taught transition, I actually did yoga, and every morning, and we noticed that student behavior decreased,
Right.
and also our paraprofessionals were just more relaxed, at the beginning of their day, and and less reactive, and it was just really good all around. So, and those were learned from different avenues of CEC and ICEC, and especially when I attended the conference last year. That was a huge tool that I took away.
Wonderful. That's great to hear.
Yeah. So, again, for the students out there, it's really, really cool to be involved in an organization like this because of just the resources and like you said, the brain power. What is one of your if you could think about your favorite experience from being a president in the past, what was something that you really took away from that?
Well, when I was president, one thing I really wanted to do is get back to our true mission, and that is serving students with special needs. And so
all that we tie back to, right?
Right? It's all about our students. And so I was able to so this is what I wanted to do, Michael. It kind of worked, it kind of didn't, but I would tell people, since we have this brain trust in the room, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you name it. And so I said, this is what we want. Bring a student that we can talk about, that we can serve needs. Someone who we're not meeting the needs right now. We put all of our heads together and figure it out. And we had a student, I brought a student's file with parents' permission and talked about this student who had these needs and this family who had the needs, and they just weren't being met right now. What else can we do? And I'm going to tell you, Jacksonville, Chapter 99, Bev John said, hey, we're having a speaker on this topic. Send them down. We'll take care of. There's no registration fee for these parents. We'll
get there.
I know, and I'm in Peoria. I'm in Pekin. So it's a drive. But she said, Bethany will pay gas. So that is what we wanted to do, and that was my hope. And we did that for several meetings. And to take it back to what can we do on the ground to help students and to help teachers, and that is what we want to do. And part of this conference, Michael, is that we can sit and talk over a cup of coffee or just in a corner and talk about, hey, this is what I need help with this. This is the situation I'm having right now. Any ideas? How can I serve these students? How can I meet this need? And somebody is going to be able to tell you, hey, this is what I've tried. Hey, this is what I've worked. Hey, this doesn't work. So just to have those conversations, or, Michael, I'm at a loss. I just don't know what to do in this situation. And oh, hey, I've seen that. And it just that knowing you have a group of professionals, even if I haven't seen it, man, I'm feeling for you. Let's see what we can think about. What have you tried this? And that's what we're here for.
Collaboration at its finest.
Right, and that's really what I wanted to do.
Yeah. And that Chapter 99 there, Beth Johnson, Martha Bechet,
they got it going on.
Houses.
Yes.
I mean, those.
Yeah.
I wish they can hear me. But hey, hopefully they can. Hopefully they'll listen to this. I'm really honored to be able to get to know them and meet them.
Yeah. In fact, they run a great program. They have many chapter
people.
Yeah, they are. And if anybody wants to check out what Chapter 99 is doing in Jacksonville, they have. I'm not sure if it's monthly or bi-monthly, but they have meetings down there that people are welcome to come to. Parents, educators, check out their website, and just find out where you can go. And if you want to go, they're happy to have you. But they're so open to anyone coming to their meetings.
So speaking of Jacksonville and Chapter 99, we were, last night that we were able to, this is Friday night, we were able to give out you were able to give out the Ray Graham grants.
I was, yeah.
And so, and today is the Ray Graham luncheon, which I will be, I guess I'm seeing for the very first time. That will be interesting. I'm excited for it.
Take a handkerchief, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So I'm really excited for that experience.
Yeah.
And so looking at this Ray Graham grant, Illinois Council for Exceptional Children gives the opportunity to give a grant out to people and professionals who are going to do wonderful and positive things with it. And so, it was given out to Chapter 99 last night to Martha Bechet.
Yeah.
And what did she do with her funds last year? And what is she going to do with her funds this year?
Well, let me think. Okay, so let me do what she's going to do this year first.
Yeah.
So they meet the needs of all their participants, and so they provide interpreters for deaf and hard of hearing for their meetings. And so the cost of that, I think, is about $1,600. Now, the cap on our grants are $500 per year, and so, of course, they were funded for the full $500. But that helps them with interpreters. Last year, they used it for the same thing, and they had some materials put into Braille for those who have low vision or are blind. Yeah, so that is awesome. So that's what they have used theirs for, to make their meetings more accessible to everyone in their community.
So important.
Yeah, Jacksonville has, they have some fantastic schools down there to meet needs of so many people.
I gotta go to Jacksonville, Illinois, ladies and gentlemen. If you're, we're not Florida.
Yeah, it's great. So that's what they use theirs for.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, there was some other, $500 that were given out to Northern, who work with students who are in transition.
Right.
And they are going to take them out and have community experiences, and provide respite, right? And then there was the Eastern Illinois.
Oh, sorry. Can I go back to Northern real
yes,
quick?
Yes,
okay.
please. And then if you want to take this bad boy, move it just a little bit right there.
Is that better? Okay.
Just right in front of the mic, kind of like here. You're okay.
Gotcha.
Wonderful.
Okay. So sometimes I talk with my hands and get a little animated.
I know. I've done it so many times.
Sure. Well, so we talked about the $500 funding for Ray Graham, but I don't want to scare people off that if they think, I don't have something that's going to cost $500, don't let that stop you. When you were talking about Northern, last year they were funded at $500. This year they asked for $250.
Yeah.
So don't think, I have this project, but it's not worth $500. Nothing is too small. We're happy to fund whatever we can that helps anyone with special needs. So don't let the $500
Well, yeah, Northern
you.
was doing, she was saying that they were giving out art supplies, or not giving out art supplies, but, holding craft events.
Right.
With their students that are, members of Council for Exceptional Children, and working with people with disabilities and transition age, and just doing crafts with them. So, all of that bought materials, because things cost money, right? And,
sure.
And we want to provide a more higher quality of life for people, and the Ray Graham grant offers us that that avenue to do that.
Right, and it does. And Eastern, I don't know if you mentioned them or not, but Eastern Illinois also got one yesterday.
I love this.
Yeah, and
I was so excited I stood up and clapped.
Well, it was it's very exciting when we can help people serve the needs of students with special needs. And so their population of students in their life skills and with intellectual disabilities has risen, and so they needed the EdMark words, and so we were happy to help them with that.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that gets things into the hands of our students with special needs.
And they had sensory
that they
kits
need.
too, right?
Oh, yeah, they did. And so, it was great. So this is the best part of what I do as past president, is to help them, give them what they need monetarily wise
right.
to meet the needs of their students. And then you also got one.
Yeah, I did. I mean, I was floored. I'm honored. I'm excited, and I'm really happy because it was able to make today and yesterday happen. It was able to, be able to get these amazing guests on there, on here, and also, have some professionalism to this podcast as well. And so basically, it's helped me buy my video editing software. It's helped me be able to produce this content. It's helped me buy video cameras for this, microphones, all that. And these are going to be at conventions in the future.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping that I would love to go down to national with this. Like that would be a really cool dream here. But it helped me out so much, and grants like that do really positive things for people with disabilities. And so
I'd love to have more. I mean, 4 was fine, but just think if we could put money into the hands of 10 teachers around the state
Absolutely.
to help meet the needs of their students.
Yeah.
How great would that be?
So,
can I tell you where to find the form?
oh yeah, I was just going to ask that. Where can we go and find the form so that we can go ahead and whoever want to apply for it?
Yeah, it is on IllinoisCEC.net. And I am actually going to give me a week or two. I'm going to get next year's form up right away because when people hear this podcast, I want it to be available, and I know they can access it any time. But I will get the dates changed and get that ready next week. So give me 2 weeks, and then go to IllinoisCEC.net. Look for the Ray Graham Memorial Grant, and it'll be out there. Everything you need.
Awesome. Yeah, give me about a week to edit this too. So, and you know what? And I will provide those links down below.
Great.
On all of these videos, ladies and gentlemen, I will be providing the Illinois Council for Exceptional Children website, which is brand new and wonderful and fantastic. We really do appreciate our friends that help us out with building all of that, because we need people who are technologically advantaged. If that's is that a good way to describe it? Whatever.
I think it's
everybody
great.
understands what I'm saying.
It's a new word. We'll take it.
Yeah. Well, I'm creating a new little lingo here. So we need people like that to help us out in order to get our good word out.
Absolutely.
Now, I'm going to kind of wrap this up here. And first, I don't think that you give yourself enough credit about being an amazing person. Like, again, like your service is really admirable. And for someone who's really young in the game, like me, I really kind of want to. First meeting you.
Wait a second. Did you just imply that I'm not young?
You are actually. I was going to say I thought you were in your 40s too, and then I think you gave me your age yesterday or something.
Yeah, don't tell.
You're wonderful.
Yeah, don't say.
Yeah, I'm going down a hole right now. Let me just keep complimenting you my way back up to the top here.
I love that.
So I appreciate your service, and that's what makes me inspired. And I really hope that people can take those aspects of your leadership, because you have been and you have a lot of experience in this field, and you're able to bring so much to the table and teach me and teach other people and teach us what leadership and advocacy really is.
Oh, thank you.
So what has been, we talked about one of your favorite things about being a president, but as a group as a whole, what has been how has CEC been an impact on your life? I mean, outside of, developing connections with people and in your professional development, but do you have any cool experiences that you have had through ICEC?
Yeah,
CEC?
probably the biggest, Michael, is being able to advocate for our students. And so I'm from Central Illinois, but when I went to Washington one year, I talked to a representative from Northern Illinois, Representative Kuthramurthy.
Nice.
And it was wonderful because I talked to him as a classroom teacher. I was there with 2 other people as well who were not classroom teachers, and he had asked a question. They were talking. I said, "Would you like to hear from a classroom teacher?" And he said, "Absolutely." And so to be able to tell him what my experiences were, because he actually grew up from where I am, so he knew exactly the area I was talking about. I mean, to have people who weren't engaged before and buy into what we are doing, that was such a fantastic moment for me to be able to just talk to somebody who is in Washington, D.C. representing us and our students, and just to talk to them as a person on what we do and how important it is. And that is probably the biggest.
Isn't it cool, non-verbally, you can understand, when you go around and you're around somebody who's an advocate or someone who's really as passionate, it's kind of you're have this sense of understanding already and comfort,
Yeah, it is. And just the camaraderie here, to be able to know that I can talk to people who are where I am and who understand what I'm talking about, and that maybe I had a bad day today, in class, but that's not going to necessarily happen tomorrow.
Right.
And I mean, you've heard, this drives me nuts, but when people say, oh, you're a saint for what you do. No, I'm really not. Like, you have no idea then what a saint is. I do this job because, but you're not. You do the job because you love it.
Right.
And because you love it, you're good at it. But that doesn't make you any.
An AP stats teacher will walk past my room and go, "You're a saint." I'll walk past their room and be like, "You're a saint."
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I don't. No, this is what I choose to do. I
Yeah.
love my students, and I teach students with behavioral disorders, but they're the best darn kids in the world. I love them, and I love
that
what
smile
I do.
you have there too.
Yeah, they make me happy,
passion.
and I've been accused of being passionate, not in a good way about it. But how is that not great?
But that's
to love what
advocacy.
I agree, and it makes me sad if there are people who are teaching our students, any students, gen ed students, students with special needs, and they're not passionate,
Right.
because these are our people.
Right.
These are us in 20 years,
Yes.
And so I think that's the biggest thing that this has done for me, is just to know that we're just regular people who love our jobs like anybody else would, But the camaraderie in the community is fantastic.
Bethanie Whittaker, it is an absolute pleasure to be able to sit down in front of you here.
I feel the same. Thanks for this.
Oh, no problem. This is it's an honor, and so, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that we can go ahead and understand that student memberships do not just stop at graduation.
Right.
Student memberships go past that into our professional lives, and we need it as professionals to help us sustain our career, to help us sustain our lives, and help us to keep changing lives with evidence-based practices and practices that are relevant to our field.
Absolutely.
So, well, thank you again.
Yeah, it
I
was my
appreciate it,
pleasure.
and let's have a good little luncheon after this.
Sounds great. Yeah, thank you. Hey, can I say something about the lunch?
Absolutely.
Okay,
May.
so the Ray Graham lunch. So Ray Graham is the father of special education in Illinois, and one thing that we get to do here is give the Yes I Can awards to students.
Yes.
And
Forgot about
so
that.
students are they are nominated by their teachers, and sometimes they send in videos, and sometimes it's written, sometimes it's artwork. But we are so happy when these students, because of their achievements and their gifts and what they do, so they win these Yes I Can awards. And Michael, we sent 2 students to national. They won national Yes I Can awards last year. Yeah, it's so great, and just to hear their stories and just to see these students and their accomplishments. When I said bring a handkerchief, man, I'm not kidding. You're gonna love this.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. My very first one. And yeah, there's just a lot of really good things going on here, so I'm happy to be a part of it.
Great. Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll see you soon.